What's up, guys? Back with me as here we got Smallville Season 3, Episode 6, Relic. Okay, so this episode starts off at like a prison, and Lana's there meeting her, seeing with her, talking to her great uncle, I think, and he's like, he didn't kill his wife Louise, and she's like, the people said you did, and he's like, and then like, what'd you see? And he's like, she's like, what'd you see? He saw Drifter, and that's the one who killed her. And a Drifter, and that's why I saw Drifter running away. And she opens the page, and the Drifter looks a lot like Clark. So Clark's like, wait a minute, what? She's like, what's this guy just telling a random story to make you believe him? And he's like, he's like, and she's like, I believe Clark. I believe that he didn't kill his wife, but I don't get why your picture is in this newspaper. So, yeah. So later, Clark's like, I think Jarrell loves this woman. So he touches and he gets flashback to Jarrell in 1950, in the 1960s or 1950s, and we meet, and of course Joe, aka Jarrell, is played by, of course, Tom Welling, and Louise is played by Lana's actress Kristen Krug. I think that's her name. I can never get her name right, last name right. And yeah, so they meet. There's Billy Tate there. There's a young Dex, and yeah. So she tries. I'll go by the flashbacks, not by the episode's flashbacks, so yeah. So Clark touches and so Pete's like, yeah, Clark. So he did that while he's talking to Pete, and yeah. So Clark touches another thing, and he's like, oh, he and Joe, aka the Drift, Louise and Joe, aka Joe the Drifter, and Lee were in love, and yeah. So then we get into another later on, but I'm gonna talk about it now. There's a flashback where she's like, where Louise was like, I wanted to be like in Hollywood, but my father wanted me to marry Dex, and so yeah, so the Clark like touches like a thing that gives us to the night Louise died, and it was actually the sheriff who, it was actually the deputy who tried to shoot. It was actually the mayor or the deputy who tried to shoot Jarrell or Joe, but it landed off him because he's bulletproof and landed in Louise, and and so yeah, so that's why people thought. That's why Jarrell or Joe ran away, and that's because he was sad about the girl they loved died, and that's why Dex thought that they thought that Dex did because he picked up the gun that the other guy that the deputy dropped or something, and that's why they thought he did it. So yeah, so Clark pretends to be the Drifter, and he pretends to be Jarrell or Joe, and he confronts. And he's like, "Tell people what you did." And he's like, I love to. So yeah, so he's like, I could never do that. But then when the sheriff comes, he does it. He confesses that he did it, and Dex finally gets out. Joe finally Joe Dex finally gets out. Yeah, and there's a flashback scene where Hiram Kent, aka Jonathan's father, and his wife helped Joe escape, and they were like, yeah, helped him escape, and and Clark's like, you weren't chosen, you guys didn't find me on accident. we're chosen, and yeah. So yeah, So yeah, this was a pretty good episode. I really enjoyed it. I like the flashbacks. I like the flashbacks. Like we learn more about Jor-El's history. I kind of liked how they got Tom Welling to play the young Jor-El, and one of his actress, as I said, Kristen Kruk. I think that's her name. To play Louise. I kind of like how even though Clark and Lana, that the actors were able to play two different characters while being in their characters' roles. And yeah, so yeah. Next, I'll be doing Magnetic, which I'm really excited to do before we can get to next episode. And yeah, yeah. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next Smallville.